Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and we're looking at how you pair a boom and zoom plane with a turn and burn plane in your flight, how you guys work together effectively as a team. Both types of planes bring something different to the table. The turn and burn plane provides a very strong early game because they can get their guns blazing very quickly. They have a low altitude clearing where they can remove the escort from early ground attack aircraft. The boom and zoom plane provides that late game carrying potential and is able to clear out aircraft from above. I am in the A6M5. This is a Tier 6 Japanese light fighter. My flight mate is in the Mosquito. This is a Tier 6 UK Heavy. The typical formation is to have the boom and zoom plane fly about 1,000 or 2,000 meters above the turn and burn plane, allowing for the boom and zoom plane to pounce on anything that the turn and burn plane spots. Here I'm checking out my targets and I want to eliminate the escort for the ground attack aircraft, and I see a light fighter tailing slightly behind the ground attack aircraft. I don't want to engage the GA simply because my guns are very ineffective against them and their tail gunner is very effective against me. The boom and zoom plane can swoop down here and eliminate the GA a lot easier than I can. However, I'm pretty good at eliminating the light fighters, and so that's where I should concentrate. The boom and zoom plane shouldn't always come down to attack the GA. However, this is just a huge furball. There's so many targets, and my teammate did come down to help with some of them. There are more fighters in the mix than we first saw before, so both of us are concentrating on the fighters first, since they are more of a threat to us than the GA. We both down one pretty early, so the GA after the fighters go down are going to be easy pickings. I check the map by holding down Alt, and that shows you which type of aircraft they are on the mini-map. And there are a couple heavy fighters to the west, but I really can't catch them in time. My teammate is going after the ground attack aircraft, and I am reluctant to again because I don't want to lose hit points to the tail gunners. The planes that were attacking the enemy base have gone down, which means it's pretty much up to us. So I type in, "It's carry hard time," and my teammate agrees, and he actually starts climbing, which is what the boom and zoom plane needs to do. This last GA, the teammates around here can take him out. What's important is that the boom and zoom plane gets to a high enough altitude where he can make sure that nobody pounces on us from above. I'm trying to kill this GA half-heartedly, but I pull away because the tail gunner keeps on wrecking me. The big problem is that these ground attack aircraft, which are basically defenseless against fighters, somehow take out 3 of our stupid planes in the past couple of seconds. So it's soon to be 3 on 5, and now we're setting up the formation again, where I'm going to fly a little bit below my teammate, and he's going to pounce on the things that attack me, and vice versa. I'm going to cover him, anything that starts chasing him. I tell my teammate a little more explicitly, I'm the bait. So my flight mate is going to slow down just a little bit while he gains altitude and wait for me to kind of get out in front. My plan is that anything that I see, I'm going to get ready to dodge. And how you dodge is at about 1,000 meters out, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depends on the plane. You want to dive and turn hard across their line of sight. So if they're coming straight at you, you want to dive down to the right or down to the left. Be unpredictable with it though. So here I'm just kind of flying like an idiot. My only thought here is just to live, and as they start to pass by me, this can be my attack run. My flight mate kills the A6M2, making it a much more reasonable 3 on 4, and the 410 decides that he has seen enough and he is going to get away. We're making our way towards the enemies in front of us, and if you'll notice the middle right of the screen, that yellow arrow, which indicates my teammate, is moving up. We're setting up the formation again, where my flight mate is about 1,000 odd meters above me, ready to strike. The enemy is preoccupied with attacking our remaining GA, and so we're able to take out 2 planes with very little effort. So after this, there are 2 planes left, which should not be a huge deal to take down, considering we are both tier 6 and have a lot of HP left, and there's a tier 5 GA and a tier 4 heavy, neither of which can offer a significant threat to us. I'm not incredibly eager to engage this guy. I could crank the stick around and go, but he's got that darn tail gunner that is just the bane of Japanese planes. I catch the BF-110C6 coming in, and I decide to move to him. If he comes to attack me, I'll just dodge him, but since he's ignoring me, I'll just gun him down. So we saw a lot of offense in this game. That's generally how you work together. The turn and burn plane works on getting rid of the air-to-air superiority fighters, while the boom and zoom plane gets rid of the GA and high altitude targets. In the next game, I'm going to be in the boom and zoom plane, and my flight mate will be in the turn and burn plane, and it's going to be more of a defensive-oriented game where we rotate targets a lot to make sure that we get the tails off of our flight mate. I am in the ME-262. This is a tier 8 German heavy fighter, and my flight mate is in the Yak-15. This is a tier 8 Russian light fighter. The enemy jumps onto my flight mate right away, and it's my job to pick the highest altitude target and then work my way down. I switch targets to protect my flight mate, and they quickly break off the attack, because if they don't, they're going to die. Whoops, I get noticed, so I have to pull up and retreat into space here, but the problem is I can't get covered this way because my flight mate can only climb to about 2,000 meters, and you'll see I'm about at 3,800 meters. So I find my flight mate, there he is in the distance, look behind me, and now I start engaging in some defensive maneuvers. Kind of a barrel roll technique is pretty hard to hit, and so I'm diving to get below my flight mate and drag my opponents down with me. My flight mate did pull them off of me. I glanced back and saw them disengaging, so now it's back into a high-speed climb looking to attack, and the enemy 262 decides to break off and switch other targets, giving me a great opportunity to get on his tail and get some gun work. The defensive barrel roll, which I talked about earlier, my opponent is doing now, and you'll see that it's not exactly easy for me to hit him. The trick is to do a barrel roll around the cone of fire, as it's a very difficult angle to predict and lead. I actually run out of gun heat, which makes it even harder to kill him, except he kills himself by running into a mountain. I now have people on my tail, and I have to climb, and the first thing I do is look to see where my flight mate is. However, he is a long way away, so I need to curve back towards him. Thoughts of defense kind of go out of my head since I see 2 juicy targets sitting below me, and I think, why not? What do you do? Then reality comes back, and there are people shooting behind me, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, that's why I was in defensive mode. I'm pulling them low and straight for my flight mate. The people behind me, when I'm engaged in a defensive barrel roll as shown here, are going to be flying in a really predictable line, and you can see my flight mate is tailing them. However, I'm a lot faster than my flight mate is, so I want to actually curve them back a little bit. There's also another teammate who's relatively close, and I start climbing, and the reason why is the enemy will have difficulty shooting me, and it will also pitch the enemy into the sky for my flight mate to shoot to. And I come back down, and you now can notice just how close my flight mate is now after I did that maneuver than before. And my flight mate quickly downs the opponent. Recap, the boom and zoom plane starts with the highest targets first, work your way down. You gotta climb up to altitude and perform a carry if necessary, and clean up ground attack aircraft or ground targets if necessary. The turn and burn plane acts as bait. You better be good at dodging, and your goal in offense is to eliminate targets quickly after you dodge. Big thanks to Antoledo and Antonio Handsome. Hope you enjoyed. Happy hunting.